on the screen shortly.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There we go. We're recording.
Do you get my books in the recording?
Ah. Good evening,
They are.
We
Barry.
get everything.
Good evening.
Good evening. Talk among yourselves for a moment or two. I've got
No, it's me.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Good evening, Stephen.
Evening, Chairman.
You've got the
I'm gonna
lights
give
on
my,
tonight, Steve.
I'm going to give my deputy a minute or two because she does have problems linking up.
Nope.
Sorry.
God bless you.
Bless you.
All right. Councillor Banks, have you been to makeup yet? You're a bit dark round the gills.
Am I?
That's better. Right. Christine, are you there?
Christine is going to be late arriving, Chair.
Sorry? Can you
Christine.
sit a little bit closer to your mic, Karen, please?
I'm trying to, but it's charging at the same time, which means I can't move my head very far. Bear with.
I've got the
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Operations and Amenities Committee meeting being held this Tuesday, the 16th of March, 2021 at 7:15. It's now 7:16, but never mind. Please be aware that all meetings are recorded and will be made available to the public on our YouTube channel after the meeting has taken place. Your participation indicates your consent to be included in the meeting recording. In the unusual event that we have a technical problem, we will suspend the meeting and recordings. We'll try and sort the problem out, basically. Right. Members of the press and public are also welcome. And I don't know whether we've got anybody from the press and public. Have we, Karen?
have one member present, Chair.
We have. And that is...
Listed as Tom Monkhouse. Oh, yes, he's still there and put their hand up as well. So I think they may like to speak, Chair.
Right. Okay. And I see we have... Ian, you're here as well, are you? Ian Webb?
Yeah, I certainly am.
Well done. Nicola, Karen, TM. Who's TM? Anyway, right, welcome, member of the public. Do you want to make yourself known?
Good evening. I'm Tom. I'm here on behalf of Cineas Players. We're a local amateur dramatics society.
Sorry, I
don't know
missed your
if I should
name.
bring this up now or wait for the point of the agenda. It's regarding the facility on Cemetery Road.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I missed your name.
Tom Monkhouse.
Okay. Okay, Tom. Yeah, you want to speak on the facility in at the Steve van der Kerkhoff building, I gather.
Yes, it's been you've voted to rename it, haven't you?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. I will. I'll indulge you then. Okay. Do we have any apologies for absence, Deputy Town Clerk?
I'll do the roll call as usual. So starting from the top, Councillor Derek Giles.
That's me.
Councillor Christine Green, as I've just noted, will be joining us, but later she's on a business call. Ian Ferguson.
Yeah.
Sorry, here.
Yep, thank you. Councillor Banks.
Present.
Councillor Chapman.
Here.
Councillor Collins, we have apologies from with valid reasons. Councillor Johnson.
Present.
Councillor Cooper Marsh. I haven't seen him. Okay, so he's marked as absent. Councillor Davis
Present.
and Councillor Presland.
Yes, present.
That's the roll call complete, and you are quorum, Chair.
Right, thank you very much. I'm just trying to get my side screen in being, and it's not working as it should do. The names are not showing up. Any clues there, Karen?
Sorry, I was muted. Are you talking about the attendee list participants?
Well, no,
Yeah.
the side screen which shows who wants to speak with the open hands.
Yep, so that's at the top of your screen.
Yeah,
You can see what looks like two little people
yeah.
without any arms. If you click on that, it should display it on the right, toggle it on and off.
Well, I've done that, and all I'm getting a load of dots. Ah, there we are. Right.
Has it appeared?
Yeah, if I put my hand up, let's see what happens. No, I'm not getting any indication of who wants to speak. I can
Would
say.
any councillor like to volunteer to assist the chair
Yeah,
with that until
if
the
somebody
deputy
can put their
arrives?
hand up. Let's get this. Oh, this is slightly different to the one I've been using all day. No, let me just try again. Close right hand pane. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. No. Come on. Technology is a wonderful thing. No, I can't.
I suggest that we just ask for a volunteer until
Yeah,
Councillor
yeah.
Green gets here. Would any members that are here at the meeting that can see
Paul.
the participant list with their hands, would they like to assist Derek and let him
Yeah,
know
I
when
can
somebody wants
see
to
it.
Yeah,
speak?
yeah.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, because I'm trying to take notes at the same
Yeah.
time as well. Thank you. There you go, Chair. Nicola's going to help you.
No, I'm not getting any indication that.
You do have your own hand up, Derek.
I know I do. Yeah, you can see that.
Nicola will let you know,
Yeah.
Derek.
Normally, I get on the right hand side of the screen.
Yes.
Right. Well, bear with me. Anyway, right. Let's move on. Declarations of interest. To receive from councillors declarations as to disposable pecuniary interests and non-statutory disposable interests, along with the nature of those interests in relation to any agenda item. Is there anybody who wants to declare any interest? If in the event that something does happen, then just put your hand up and we'll deal with it there and then. Right. Agenda item number 3, outstanding resolutions and work in progress. The first one is community gritting as we approach spring. I'm going to ask Ian if we've got an update on that. Have we, Ian?
I don't believe so. No, I think we're still waiting for the map from County Council
Yeah.
to find out where theirs all are before we start putting our ones on.
Right. Okay. That's fair enough. I think we can whip over that. The old Red Cross building. The last one in February was no further update. Safety fencing. Have we got any news about the safety fencing? You've had the budget for that. You've got the money to pay for it now. Just needs doing.
Yeah, we've got the fencing. It just needs putting in.
Right. Any ideas when?
I would have thought within the next few weeks we'll make a start on that. We've got some work in the cemetery we're doing at the moment. So once that's done, we'll make a start.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now there is.
Can we just note Christine's joined?
Thank you,
So she
Nicola.
has. Thank you for that, Nicola. Still having problems.
Can we ask if she has any declarations, Chair, please?
Have you got any declarations, Christine?
I have none, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to try and get this back.
Councillor Chapman has his hand
right.
up.
Councillor Chapman.
Chair, thank you. Going back to the Red Cross building, it does say in the minutes it was proposed and seconded to recommend to full council that the former Red Cross building is renamed as the Van der Kerkhof Community Centre. I think the Ops Committee actually changed its recommendation, I believe, didn't it?
It was the Steve Van der Kerkhof.
Yes, but it doesn't say Steve in the minutes, and I thought that we changed that from what was proposed.
Chair,
it was
if I may?
amended, I believe.
Karen. Yeah.
The amendment was made by full council, so the recommendation went as is in these outstanding actions that was resolved by the Ops Committee, but when it went to full council and they discussed it, that's when it was changed to the Steve Van der Kerkhof Community Centre.
Thank you, Karen.
No problem.
Okay. Right. Now I've now got my screen on the right hand side, and Tom, you want to approach the committee, do you? I think I know what it was.
Yes.
Carry on.
So St. Players and our sister society Vamps are looking for some storage solutions in and around St. Neots, but it may soon be unavailable to us. We need somewhere to store our set and props, scenery, that sort of thing. And we'd like this committee to consider allowing us to use the Van der Kerkhof Centre.
Right. Okay. Now, when you say the Van der Kerkhof Centre, do you mean the inside or do you mean the garage by the side of it?
So I'm unaware of the distinction. We mean the garage to the side of it,
Yes,
with the large folding doors.
Yeah. I'll just make one observation here. We've got a little bit of a problem with the roof, that it does leak a little bit. Are you aware of that?
Yes, a couple of our members have had a look. We would need to shore that up in some way.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Fair enough. As long as you're aware of that. Councillor Chapman.
Thank you, Chairman. I believe that Glenys Shaw, who is in the, I'm not sure if Glenys, Tom may be able to clarify this, but whether Glenys is well as Vamps, I think she may be, but came to the committee much earlier on when we had the Red Cross building, and explained that the amateur dramatics societies, they are a big regular user of the Priory Centre, and if they hadn't got anywhere to store their scenery prior to a production, which isn't all the time, it's when there's a production on, they need to have somewhere where they can have it there and then shift it into the Priory Centre. And so I'd be very pleased if we could support the use of that building if it is suitable for this, because what it does mean is it facilitates use of the Priory Centre and the income that we receive from that. And it's a small, I don't know, it's a small thing for the town council to do, which would make a maximum difference to the players, the Vamps. Probably, I think Riverside have also got the same requirement, but in order to enable our productions at the Priory Centre to go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Barry. Yeah, my only concern from the chair is the size of that, and we're looking now at 2 or 3 organisations. I know they're sort of semi-linked. They do cross over a little bit, but I think we need to bear that in mind. But let's open this up. Delphine, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I've got no problem with supporting
Let's just speak up a little bit. Come on.
Okay. I've got no problem with supporting, dramatic, but I would have raised the concern was that we need to have a clear understanding of how we're going to use not the garage storage, but the building itself. Because obviously, if we have people who are interested in renting the building for a period of time, they may request, use of the storage. So I think we need to have some clear understanding of what we want to achieve with the Steve van der Kerkhof building. Therefore, I think we have a working party who is looking at the community centers and things like that, and looking at the Priory Center, looking at the Eatons or things like that. So it might be a good idea for them to have a good look and, in the meantime, there's no problem, but we need to have a long-term view of how we're going to use the building and, what is going to be its place in cities.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. Yeah, no, I thoroughly agree. We're not going to make that decision. We don't have the say-so to say to anybody, yes, you can use it. It needs to go through the proper channels. And there ain't any shortcuts. What we're saying is, yes, the building is available. The need to go through the Priory Centre. The point I'm making is that the roof of the garage is in need, not serious repair, but perhaps part of the deal would be that whoever rents that, whatever that rent would be, and it's nothing to do with us, it is the Priory Centre who are doing the bookings. Part of that would be that well, they'll make use of they'll make the roof good as well. I'm going to bring Ian in next, Barry, if you can just bear with me. You wanted to say something, Ian?
Yeah, it's probably worth noting that half of the garage space, the end that's leaking, we the town council's using at the moment to store the gym equipment in. That's on item number 5.
Yeah.
And the rest of it at the moment is being used by the 3 pillars to store furniture for the homeless that are being rehoused.
Right. Okay.
But I'm not sure if that's a long-term thing that they're using it or if it's just a short-term.
Right. Okay, that's fine. People have got their hands up. Delphine, you've still got your hand up. Barry Banks. Yeah, you come in, Barry.
Thank you, Chair. Listening to the other councillors, I think obviously it's something that's got to be thought about because there's people using it now, and we would like obviously to give it to people to use. There's no point in it being empty. And I take what you said before that it has to go through obviously the proper channels, and then we can be secure in saying yes, you can use it, or no, you can't. We need to have more discussions on what we intend to do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I was saying. I don't think we as a committee would have any problems with whoever wants to use it, but we can't say, yes, you can have that building, or no, you can't. You've just brought the point up that, or Ian did, that at the moment it's used for storage for gym equipment. Well, we do deal with that later on in the agenda. So, yeah, Mr. Munglius, if you want to approach the Priories, the letting officer, the Priory Centre, I don't think we as a committee would have any problems. It's not our problem anyway, but we're just pointing out the downfall of it is that the roof leaks. If you wanted to hire the facility as well, then fine. Again, I personally wouldn't have any nothing against that, but we're not the renters, we're not the hirers. Councillor Chapman, you've got your Danny up again.
Yes, Chair. I was quite shocked to discover that there are other uses going on with that. We had the outside gym equipment stored in there as a short term thing. There has been no arrangement for 3 pillars to use that building. either through the community centres working party or through this committee. And I'm a little bit concerned that here we are as councillors of a committee, and the Ops Committee is responsible for the buildings, and this is a separate building to the community centre. This is an opportunity for the Ops Committee to actually do something which will support the the Priory Centre, and also support one of our probably longest established organisations and users of the Priory Centre. So I do believe this committee has the power to come to an agreement with them. I didn't realise that 3 pillars had been permitted to put furniture in there. I'm not going to go into what that furniture might be or what it might be used for, but that's something that no one has been made aware of.
No, I agree with you.
The players are keen to get back to using the Priory Centre, to bringing in audiences, to putting on a pantomime this year, and they have nowhere to put their scenery. This building just happens to have a high roof, which is particularly pertinent to having scenery in there. I don't believe there is a logical linkage with the use of the community centre, and we've never discussed that building as being part of that agreement. So I believe that this committee has the authority to allow the players and any other group, and it wouldn't be 3 groups at once because they all do performances at different times of the year.
Yeah.
But I think that we should do all that we can to support this group, and especially given that they want to be involved in reopening the Priory Centre and getting people back in there.
I don't think anybody's disputing you on that, Barry. I'm just going to move this on. We'll come back to that point, the responsibility, in a minute. I've got Karen's hand up. I've also got Barry Banks. You've still got your hand up, Barry. Can you?
Sorry.
I'm going to go to Karen. You've got your Danny up.
Yes, I have, thank you. It was just to clarify the situation on this item. Yes, obviously, the council, as members have said, fully want to support the community and the amateur dramatics, but we need to remember that the council has resolved that the old Red Cross building, the premises as a whole, which includes the garage, was transferred over to the community centres working group. So what we can do is, if Tom is happy to contact the offices, I can then, with his permission, share his details with the centres working group, and then they can discuss this with him. And we do have a full council meeting on the 23rd of March, which we might not be able to get that on the agenda, but there is also one in April. But it is the remit of the community centres working group, not this committee.
I think that's very, very sensible. I don't think we should be involved in sort of subcontracting bits and pieces, to be honest with you. But anyway, Karen, you've got your hand down.
Could I
see Stephen?
Tom, therefore. Tom, would you be happy to contact me at the office tomorrow?
More than happy.
I'll put my email address in the chat just now, and then if you could send me an email tomorrow, and then I can progress this for you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Right, Stephen, your hand keeps wobbling up and down there.
I just wanted to agree with Barry. At least the St Neots Dramatic Society and Vamps have come to ask us if they could use the garage. And as much as a big fan I am of 3 pillars, I can't remember approving their usage of the garage area as well. So thank you for asking us the question, and I think that we should seriously consider it because it seems to be a good use of the space.
Yeah. Okay. Bear in mind, I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to get into a heated debate on this, what's happening with the old mortuary as well, whether there's space there which could be utilised But anyway, so the resolution is then, Tom, if you're happy to go to the Priory Centre, be aware that there is a leaky roof. If you've got people there who can help repair it, then fine. If not, be prepared that it is a leaky roof. Okay. Everybody happy with that? Right. Apparently so. Where are we now? Right. Okay. Nothing else on the Old Red Cross building. So we move on to wildflower planting. Ian, any update on that?
No, not really. I've been in contact with Emma Stannard at HDC, and she's working all through it at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. St Neots Museum. Now, the last one we had on that was the pigeon problem. I seem to think we were going to get speak to the people who dismantled the pigeon bits and pieces and ask them to replace it. If they hadn't done it, then we would do it and charge them for it. Have we got an update on that, Karen?
So the letter was sent to them. We have had no response from them, and I've been down a couple of times to no avail. There wasn't anybody at the premises. So the ops team will now carry out the repair works, and then we will issue them an invoice. Hopefully they'll be able to pay that invoice.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. That's lovely. Where are we? Oops. Let's do that.
I'll just add to that
Ian.
one, please.
Yeah.
The since they first came out and done those spikes and they've been knocked off, we've since had lots of damp issues in the museum. And when we went up onto the roof to have a look, there was absolutely loads and loads and loads of bird droppings, all in the gutters, on the flat roof, in the valley. So we need to get all those removed as well, and extra spikes put up, because what was done originally was not really sufficient to stop the birds. And I've had one quote in, which I can't seem to find in my pile of paper here, but it was astronomically expensive. And I did meet with another guy today who's going to send a quote through sometime this week.
Right. Well, we're following the due process whereby the perpetrators of the foul up, if you like, should be aware. We're going to repair their work or shoddy workmanship, and we'll charge them for it. It needs to be done anyway. Yeah, fine. Barry, I think you got your hand up first.
Yes, Chair. I'd just like to say there should have been a letter or something served on them. I'm not clear. Yeah. I'm not clear that has been done, and I would inform them by registered post or recorded delivery or something that they will be liable for it, because it looks as though we will have to pursue them for the money.
Yeah. Karen has sent them a letter.
Just confirm. So they've had a normal letter sent. So you'd like me to send a second one, recorded delivery?
Yes, please.
The shop. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Delphine. No?
Yeah, yes. I was going to say, it was exactly what I'm going to say that Barry said, but I will add, since Ian had mentioned about the bird dropping and the cost, if that could be added as a cost, because the first time I think we only sent for the spike. Obviously now we're being made aware that there's an extra cost with the bird dropping and clearing it up. So I would be inclined of getting a quote from Ian, how much it would cost to clear everything up, to add that to the cost, and to send a recorded delivery to the owner, so that we cover everything.
Yeah, I think we need to do it. as we said originally, Karen has sent a letter to them. I'm proposing that she sends another letter to them, recorded delivery, right? And, you know, ask for a meeting, or just say that if we don't have any solution to this, then we will go ahead and charge them for it. How do people feel about that?
As I said, we have cost. I think it would be a good idea to have a good idea, because obviously, as Ian said, it's going to cost us a lot of money to put it right. And I think we need to have a good idea of how much it would cost, and let them be aware that it's not just the spike, but there's something else too, and it's causing damage, so that we are cover ourselves in every aspect. So it's they can't just say, well, you only say for the spike and then you charge us again for something else. We need to make it clear that there's continuous problem, highlight some of those problem, and that there may be other cost coming, because you can't just say spike and then send 2 months later another letter saying it's something else and something else. So we need to have a kind of a very strong view. But this is what my advice would be.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you very much for that. But as I say, we've already sent a letter to them. We need to send it officially so that we know that they're in receipt of it. They might come along and say, yeah, get on with it, you know. I take your point about we don't know how much it's going to cost. By the time we've got quotations in, whoops, there's another month down the line and a load more bird droppings. Let's come back to that in a minute. Barry?
Chris, I've got my hand up.
Yeah, Barry. Yeah, somebody just said, is it an insurance matter?
You're on mute, Barry.
Yeah, sorry, I was being cheeky and communicating with Karen, really, but
yes, it does
occur to me if the damage can be proven to have originated from the builders next door, then I would have thought that we would claim, or the museum would claim.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who holds the insurance. I presume it's us because we're the freeholder. But that we would claim it against the insurance, and the insurance would then reclaim the money from the people causing the damage.
Yeah.
I'll check that process actually, Barry.
Yeah, if you could,
had similar
please.
things at the Eton, so I'll check with Teddy and look on Land Registry like you suggested.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And can I just ask, Ian, are we going to have any prices within the next 48 hours, do you think? I could then include it.
I've definitely got one quote already. Like I say, it was very, very expensive, and I only met the guy today, so he said he'd get it to me in the next few days. So.
Okay, well, I can use the first quote to give them
give them some
idea of what they're up against.
We're talking thousands, not just a few hundred.
Right. Okay. Well, that's definitely insurance jobbing. Christine, over to you.
Well, what Barry just said may make this not necessary, but I'm just saying you can send recorded letters and we can pay for it. It doesn't mean that these people will actually respond just because it's recorded, and we can still end up thousands of pounds out of pocket and end up having to take them to court, and they could just not respond at all. It doesn't mean we'll get the money back. So we just need to be aware of that. Although if the insurance idea comes off, obviously that will cover it. But we just need to be aware that we can claim it from them. It doesn't mean that they will respond.
Well, the only thing is that they would have insurance for the building.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they should have.
As long as we can get hold of them. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we agree with that then. Do we want to run through what we're going to do or not? Are we happy that Karen will send a recorded delivery with an indication of the cost and let them sort it out and see what happens there? I have a funny feeling this will run on and on and on, but there you go. Right, let's move on. CCTV.
Sorry, Chair, I'm just going to put this in the chat and then you can vote on it, just to be clear that we all know what we're doing. Second is recorded delivery to include estimated costs for the repairs. Okay, so I press centre. So that's what I'm tasked with doing currently as the next step.
Yeah. Okay. Then. That's fine.
Would you
Okay.
like to get a seconder for that and a vote, please?
Seconded.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Yeah. All agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. CCTV in council cemeteries. Ian, over to you again.
Yeah, there's nothing more to add, I'm afraid. There's
No update. That's all right. It's on the radar all the time. St Neots Inclusive Play Parks. This is Stephen's kettle of fish. What's this say?
We had a meeting. What was it? A working group meeting? We had a meeting about play parks last week when we decided where we wanted to put the equipment. And I think the conclusion we came to was that the Brick Hill site will be the most appropriate location for the disabled play equipment, both in terms of accessibility, in terms of the equipment that's already there, and also because of the proximity to Samuel Pepys School, which will be some of their users. I've previously reviewed, along with Ian, all of the St Neots Town Council play areas, and that review came to the conclusion that Brick Hills would be the best location too. It's very close also. At the moment, the site is a bit neglected and a bit out of the way, but it's very close to the underpass, which will connect it directly to the Wintringham estate, which means that in time it will also get good usage. So I think the working group recommends that we install the £45,000 worth of equipment at the Brick Hill site.
Right. Now, I've just had a thingy come up from Karen. If I can come back to you on that. What have we skipped, Karen?
If you look at the agenda pack, Chair, so the attachment 1 is to go with the item on the agenda, which is the 3 quotes for the play areas. One is the new one, Chamberlain Way. So we need to
sorry
do that
about that.
item first. Attachment 2 then goes to the inclusive play equipment.
I'm running through the reports.
So if I can remind everybody, we're looking at the quotes for the play areas and the fencing at Shady Walk. So that is Kings Road.
Can we do this in the list that I've just run off? Actually, sorry about this. Let's do this.
We've got Chamberlain Way, Kings Road, and Ackerman Street play areas, and there's quotations attached from Hags and from Play. They were deferred from last week, and Ian's going to talk about them now.
Hold on a minute. The agenda I've got in front of me at the moment goes CCTV in council cemeteries, then St Neots Inclusive Play Parks, and then play areas.
That's what mine says. Yeah.
Oh, so why is the Word document looking slightly different then?
Right. So
it's got the cemeteries and then the inclusive play parks.
Yeah. That's the way we discussed it, Karen, on our meeting.
Yeah,
so if we can just go back.
Inclusive Play Park is the charity that's looking at a complete play park on its own, and then I think the play areas is where we've got the resolution for the 45k. For in our areas, but before that we've also got the new play equipment. So it is correct. It's the play areas, not the St Neots Inclusive is an update on that charity project that Stephen Ferguson
My apologies.
Yeah, got that, Karen.
The play areas is all about St Neots ones, and that's 45k for the new inclusive equipment and the 42k for the others.
That was a very brief update. Thank you, Stephen, for that.
Sorry, Stephen.
On the Inclusive Play Park charity. Okay.
The charity haven't met is the answer.
Yeah, okay. Barry, if I can come back to you in a second. We then come on to the Inclusive Play Parks. Now, we've got 2, I think.
We're on to play areas.
Play areas here.
Yes.
We've got the money of 45,000 kindly given to us at the last town council meeting.
Chair, Chair, sorry, we're doing the actual play areas attachment 1. If you look, you've got the quotes for the play areas and the fencing at Shady Walk, and that was deferred last month because our operations manager wasn't available. Members need to decide which supplier to go with, either Hags or Sutcliffe, as in the attachment on the agenda pack, so that these play areas can go ahead and be installed.
Right.
This is not the inclusive equipment. This is the ones that have been on the agenda for a while: Chamberlain Way, Kings Road, and Ackerman Street.
So when do we discuss the
attachment 2? When you get down to where it says that we've got £45,000 seal money.
right?
If you read down a few paragraphs, Derek.
Attachment 2 is the play areas with Hags. Do you want me to show the attachments on the screen?
Not at the moment. Let's just get this
our
into.
play areas have got 2 items. It's always been about the new play areas, and then we added on, adding some inclusive equipment, and got the £45,000 from full council. So there's
Right,
2 items that we're looking at. Does that make sense?
Okay. So it doesn't really show on that we are looking at two separate.
Well, the
if
2
you like.
attachments do show that, Chair.
Yeah.
Attachment 1 supports the new play area equipment, and then attachment 2 supports the additional inclusive equipment in our play areas.
Right, okay. So to tidy this up a little bit, if we're looking at play areas at the top, where it says 2 quotes received, blah, 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 that was some time ago. We'll deal with that one first, yeah?
Yes, that's attachment 1.
Okay. Right, which is attachment 1. Right, this is the big wodge of paperwork.
Which Ian can help people with as well.
Which I will flutter through here. If I can just bring members up to date with this. This goes back to last September, where the F&GP committee approved the spend of some £42,000, not 45, £42,000 from SIL money dating back to 2015-16. There's a certain proportion of money there which has to be spent by April, else we're going to have to return it, basically, as I've been told. So we then, over the past 2 or 3 months, we've looked at 3 play areas. One is Kings Road play area, one is Ackerman Street play area, and one is Chamberlain Way. Ian very kindly, and Karen of course, went out to 2 companies, and they both quoted figures for the 3 areas. So we've got 6 quotations here, which I'm sure you've all been looking at over the weekend, which is what we really need to make our mind up on. Bear in mind, we've got a budget of 42,000, which was kindly given to us by F&GP. We have had a spend of £3,323 spent on Ackerman playing field. We'd actually have we have at our disposal £38,677. I hope you're still with me on that. I'm going to pass this over to Ian now for his recommendations. He's done a tremendous amount of work on this, and well, basically, having spoken this afternoon, I'm pretty certain it will be riveting what you're about to say, won't it, Ian?
Oh, it certainly will.
Before you do that, I've got 2 hands up. Is this for clarification or what, Barry, Delphine?
Derek, firstly, I've got a question for Stephen on inclusive play areas, and that was whether or not, because it seems to me that what's being proposed fits quite closely the criteria which have been specified for the district council sill bids. And I wanted to ask whether or not the inclusive play areas group would be putting in a bid to that fund. Secondly, I have to say I'm rather concerned that again, Chairman, you've listed 3 play areas and excluded Shady Walk. And I cannot stress enough that it's all very well putting new equipment in play areas, but that should not be at the expense of having one play area which isn't usable because of dog fouling, because we haven't got a fence. And that fence should be the priority of this committee.
Yeah, but Chairman, Barry, if I can just guide everybody back, this goes back nearly 6 months now, when the money was allocated to this committee to put in enhance, if you like, 3 play areas. Shady Walk, unfortunately, at that time was not in those 3 areas. What's happened is, Ian and Town Clerk, etc., have gone out and asked 2 companies to quote for these particular 3 areas. Now, when I thoroughly appreciate your problems with Shady Walk, but I think we've got to concentrate on these 3 areas, then bringing Shady Walk into the next tranche of play equipment, etc. Other than that, if we go back to the drawing board, we're in danger of losing £7,000 SIL money. I'm reluctant to do that.
Firstly, I do not believe that we've ever been told that SIL money will be lost.
Well, I assure you, according
because we already have our allocations that will, according to what's been presented to F&G, there are allocations of that SIL which will not result in that money being lost. If you've understood differently, then it needs to be dealt with by F&G urgently if there's risk of SIL money being lost, but we've been informed that it wouldn't be.
Only this afternoon, Teddy told me that if we don't spend that 7,000, it will be lost. This is her words, not mine.
All money will be lost eventually if not spent, but there is no time limit that is.
Well, this is 15-16 money.
And we have been looking, Chairman, for the fencing for Shady Walk since 2019. It was when I first raised that. It's now 2021. Now, Ian has said that he was expecting a quote for the last meeting. He said that he would get it for this one.
Yep.
And I'm absolutely shocked that you feel that we haven't got funding to do that, because if you visit the Shady Walk play area, you will understand what I mean. It is absolutely up to your ankles in dog droppings.
In that case, do you think that's a suitable place to put new play equipment? I don't. However, it's just been
it's a fence, Chairman, that we're asking for.
That is not play equipment. Barry, that is not play equipment. The fence comes on the agenda later on. That's a completely different. There's a completely different animal. You know, we're talking about the fence on Shady Walk. Where is it on the agenda later on, isn't it? Well, I thought it was anyway.
Chair, may I speak?
Please do.
Thank you. Shady Walk is on the agenda, and if we let our operations manager speak, he's going to talk about the 2 quotes, and then you'll see on the agenda that he will be updating us on the quote for fencing at Shady Walk as well. So I think if we could let our operations manager update us first, and then that may answer some of the members' concerns.
Are you happy with that, everybody? Stephen, can we let Ian speak first?
Yeah, are we discussing the Chamberlain Way one now? Yeah, and
Well, the
Quote
three
first
actually.
and then Shady Walk in, if you would. That's
Sorry, what was that, Karen?
quotes first for the play areas, and then
Yeah, cool.
you can
Okay.
update Shady Walk afterwards. Thank you.
Yeah, as you know, we received 2 quotes, one from Hags and also one from Sutcliffe Play. Sutcliffe Play are a little bit of an unknown to us. We've never actually used them in the past, but they have been out to us many times to quote, and they invited us up to their factory and all sorts. We've used Hags many times in the past in quite a few of our play areas. And as you'll see from the 2 quotes, the one from Hags, they are offering us a little bit more equipment than the Sutcliffe one. And in my opinion, the equipment they're offering us is also more inclusive than the Sutcliffe one. And I do also believe they're cheaper as well.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that very much for that. As I say, I'm sure everybody else has been looking at those quotes over the weekend, as I prompted you to. As I say, bringing this back, we have got a budget of 38,677 to put in play equipment in Chamberlain Way, Kings Road and Ackerman playing field. That's what I want to focus everybody's attention on, not Shady Walk at the moment. Okay, so anybody, any thoughts? So Delphine, you've got your hand up.
I think actually Barry had a question for Stephen earlier. So I don't know if Stephen wanted to answer about the seal, if the charity were going to apply for seal. So I don't know if Stephen wanted to answer that question first.
Yeah, we're going to come to that in a minute because we've also got 45,000 to spend on inclusive.
Okay, what I was going to say is, first of all, it would be helpful if Karen doesn't mind putting those quotes on screen so that we can both look at the same thing, because I said look at the quote, but I can't remember which one is which when it came to names. The other thing was, I mentioned before the bird nest swings, which I believe are quite good and very inclusive to all. So one of the questions I was going to have for Ian is that I haven't seen those ones on any of the quotes. So is it something that we could look at instead of the other swings which are being offered, to have something, a Burnett swing instead? Because as you can see on the screen, you've got those swings which are good, or whether they are limited in who can use them, while the Burnett one are much more inclusive. And so that's a question for Ian. I don't know if we can have a mix if that company offer obviously such a swings.
I believe on the inclusive side of things, for these 3 players, if we was to ask for that type of swing, they would have to completely re-quote the whole tender again, and we wouldn't get nowhere near as much equipment because they are a lot more money than a standard swing.
Yeah.
But the equipment that they are supplying, a lot of it is inclusive, just not a swing. But when we go to the next ones, when we get the quotes through for those, I'm sure there will be some nest swings in it somewhere.
Yeah, from my own point of view, we're looking at various projects. There'll be other projects next year or whenever, and that's the time to have new ideas, different ideas to hear. There's a lot of work been has everybody looked at all of these quotations? Yeah, okay.
I mean, the thing to consider with like a big nest swing as well, we are constrained by the fence lines of our play areas. So to put a nest swing in, we would probably have to lose another piece of equipment that really doesn't need to be taken out because it's not damaged or it's still in good condition.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I just want thank you, that clarify it. Thank you.
Right, okay. Barry, you want to come in?
Chair, I'd like to propose that we approve the Hags configuration quote.
Okay, that's fine. I will second that. So we can go ahead and get that ordered. I mean, I've studied this in among various other bits and pieces today, and the Hag came over very, very good as far as I'm concerned. And then I spoke to Ian, who verified this. They're well known to us. They're cheaper than the other ones, and we get more beans for our bucks, quite honestly. Paul, you want to leave us now, I'd gather.
Yes, but I'm prepared to second Barry's proposal if
All
that's
right.
helpful.
Yeah, okay. So before you leave us, anybody else want to speak on this proposal? Nicola, you've gone, my dear.
No, fully support it.
Yeah, okay. No, nobody wants to vote against it?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, all those in favour? Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Can I ask just operation manager if he's got an idea of timescales?
I haven't as yet, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And also, whilst we're on the subject of it, you're saying about the Ackerman Street had some money spent on it, so we're down to 38,000. You'll note the quotes for like 40 something.
Yeah.
From my recollection, I can't remember anything being spent at Ackerman Street for a long, long time.
No, well, this was according to Teddy this afternoon. She said in the budget there was 3,323 already spent. I would suspect on repairs.
Not
But if we can sort that out, if we can sort that out, we can probably find the remainder from another underspend pot as we come into the end of the year anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Ackerman Street goalpost. What about it? Who said that?
No, they were only a few £100s.
Yeah. Okay. So now we come on to the next item, which is the inclusive play equipment, 3 parts of which we have got funding for of £45,000. Now, I'm going to bring in Stephen here. You've done a lot of work on this. Yeah.
Speak, please. We've skipped the fencing at Shady Walk. Can the operations manager now update us on that as he was going to?
Right. Okay. I think we're going to have to get these in slightly different order. Yeah.
Right,
sorry. It was right at the beginning. Ian, can you give us an update on the fence cost?
Quite a while back now. I can't remember how long ago it was. It was well over a year ago. We approached 2 companies. One couldn't even get anywhere near the type of fencing that's there. Wicksteed could come up with just a plain green fence to extend what's there. And I don't know if members are aware, but the fence that's at Shady Walk is quite a fancy fence. Every single hoop of each individual fence is a different colour. So it goes blue, green, red, yellow, and so on. So to put up a green one would look really, really odd. Their other option was to give us a coloured one where each panel would be coloured. So you'd have a yellow panel, a red panel, and still look quite odd. And they were coming in at anywhere between 6,500 to 6,800. Since then, I've approached St Neots Fencing, and Mark there can actually get the identical fencing and install it for £5,982.66p.
That's still £6,000.
And the ones from Wicksteed didn't include erection. That was just a supply. So Mark is considerably cheaper for the exact same fencing with a gate.
When you say considerably cheaper, that comes to nearly 6,000. How much was Wicksteed's then?
It was 6,800 for not the same fencing. It really would look odd, and that didn't include putting the fence in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
So
it was just a
talking
supply for us to do it, but like, it's a huge job that we really haven't got time to be doing.
So, right, okay. So now all we've got to do is find the loot. Is that correct?
As Barry says, it is a really bad play area. It's used by a lot of children, but there is a lot of dogs mess in it. Every time we go there, there's people there with dogs, and we always tell them they have to leave. And
yeah. Right. The main problem is how are we going to fund this? We can put a recommendation into full council to release release £6,000.
You could, Chair, and we have the agenda for next week's meeting going out Thursday, so that could be included.
Are you going to propose that, Barry?
Chair, I'd just like to say that we are in March. So do we have any funding left in our budget under any other heading that we
Right,
can?
okay. Unfortunately, Teddy's not with us tonight, but we have to assume no. And the procedure would be for us as a committee to ask to resolve that full council fund this out of, whatever, out of the good old seal money, out of reserves, out of whatever pot we can do. If between then and or now and then we find that we do have some spare funds, then we can put that into the pot as well. But I think what we've got to do is not assume that we haven't got it. I'd prefer if there was a proposal on the table asking to fund this fence. You can.
I will second the proposal that you've just made. No, you're going
to propose it.
I propose that we put fencing in at Shady Walk, and
I second that. I second that, Barry.
Sorry, hang on a sec. And if that requires a recommendation to full council, then we need to do that. But I do think that we probably have got some money left in the budget, which will be lost before we hold the next ops meeting, so we won't be spending it.
Well, if we can do that, what will happen is, if we get this motion through, I will make the point of finding out whether we can fund it ourselves, which I don't think we. I don't think we will, and I don't think we can take the risk. If we do find we've got it, then we just say, "Don't worry, we'll fund it ourselves." But it's a belt and braces job.
Okay, I propose that we recommend to full council that we full council funds the fencing cost at Shady Walk.
Fine.
Is that? Do you want that in the chat?
Barry, I didn't put
it's in
the chat. It's more or less what you said. Are you happy with that, or did you want to put your own in?
Sorry, I've got a page down.
So it says propose to recommend to full council to allocate funding to install the additional fencing at Shady Walk.
And I think we need to put the price in there.
Funding.
Yeah. Delphine, you've got your hand up.
What was it? 7,000, Ian?
I was going to propose that we put. May I suggest an amendment that we agree to go with St. Neots fence quote, that we agree to go for that quote because of this is cheaper, and then we therefore and also we were supporting a local company. So I ask that as a committee we agree to accept the quote from St. Neots Fencing, that we should first obviously discuss with Teddy to see, as Barry pointed out, if there is any money there before asking full-time council. My concern here being that at the last full-time council, the Ops committee have already asked for a lot of money, and there may be some member of the council which may be worried about the fact that the committee has been asking for so much money.
Yeah.
No matter that the costs are very good, but we need to have a look first if we can fund it ourselves before it's on because like I said, committee has spent a lot of money and keep asking full-time council to support.
I'm not quite sure whether I completely follow with the most for a seconder.
Okay, my point is we need to agree for St. Neots fence quote, but we will go for that one. Which we can put in as an amendment in the proposal. And my second point is regarding the money. that before he goes on the full town council agenda, maybe tomorrow morning, to speak with Teddy, and following Barry's point, that we make sure we don't have any other way to fund it, because the committee has been going to full town council at the last full town council, actually asking for a lot of money for a lot of this project, which I agree and support, but it's kind of getting problematic. That's all I'm saying.
The proposal is, Barry has put a proposal on that we ask the town council for £6,000 to do the fencing in Shady Walk. I'm going to ask for the vote. If you're against it, then you vote against it.
Chair, if I may, could I just
please do.
quickly say something that may help Councillor Johnson? So the proposal to recommend to full council to allocate funding to install the additional fencing at Shady Walk at a cost of £6,000 as quoted by St Neots Fencing. What that would involve is it would either be funded from an unspent budget within the operations remit, but it would still go to full council because it's environment, because we're using another line item, or if that's not available, then it would be obviously seeking funding from other sources. So both areas would be covered, Councillor Johnson.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so all those in favour of that?
Yes,
right, okay,
Yes.
fine. Right, play area or play equipment. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, well, according to Deputy Town Clerk, what do you want us to discuss next?
The next item is the £45,000 you've been awarded out of STIL for inclusive equipment to go in our play areas, and that is attachment 2.
Right. In future agendas, can we break these down very, very, make them 3?
It's difficult because of the outstanding resolution tracker we have at the beginning. We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
I know you will. Anyway, I'll share
this one on the screen.
Yeah, we've got £45,000 for 3 pieces of play equipment, inclusive play equipment, which Stephen has done quite a lot of work on. He's consulted with myself and Vice Chairman, and to look. The choice has been to have 3 pieces dotted around the town at different different areas. Stephen's made the case that we perhaps should be on one area, and the area which he has convinced us on, I suppose, is Brick Hills. There's a certain amount of equipment there already. A lot of it is not particularly good quality stuff, except for one, which was my favourite when it was first put in. I think it's called the Dutch Disc. So I'm going to open it up. How do people feel about having all the equipment in one site, and or in separate sites? It would be cheaper to have it all in one, I think. Where's everybody gone? Oh, there you are. I'm going to go over to Stephen now. Oh, Ian, sorry.
Yeah, just to let you know, I have met with both Hags and Sutcliffe Play in the last week, and both of those feel that it'd be far better to put it all in one site than to try and spread it around, because, as I said before, of the constraints of our fencing we've got and land and trying to extend play areas. Once you do that, you've got to add extra fencing, and as you just heard, fencing is not cheap. What they've both said is, if we try and put one piece here and one piece there, you're really not going to get value for money, and the public are going to look at what's been put in and go, really, is that the best you can do? Whereas if they put it all in one site, it'll be more of a wow factor, maybe a bit of a flagship site that we can promote and say, this is our one of our inclusive sites. And they both say they both feel that was the way forward.
Thank you for that. I thoroughly agree with you on that. Barry, you want to come in?
Yes, I'd like to. I've every confidence in Stephen over this, and I personally think it makes sense to have it all on one site, so that site becomes known as the the one with inclusive play equipment.
Yeah, fine. Thank you for that.
So I like to propose that we go for the quote.
Right. Okay. Can I just bring Stephen in there? He's got his hand waggling about there.
Yeah. So two things. So firstly, just to add to what Ian said as well, the only other site which might be suitable is the Saxon Gate site. But the Saxon Gate site has lots of good equipment in, and what we don't want to do is get into a situation where we're taking out perfectly good usable equipment to put new equipment on top of it. So actually, I think that the Brick Hill site is in need of love and attention, and would be the perfect situation. And alone of all the sites, it has car parking really near, which is critical. I think, for people with disabilities. It needs to be accessible. So I think that's really important. To just address the point that Barry made earlier, I think it's a really good suggestion that we apply to HTC for some still money. My preferred location would be Riverside Park still, but I think the charity is still raising money, and I think we could have a second bite of the cherry together with the charity and perhaps HTC still money, try and put some equipment back into that rocket park in Riverside Park. But I think that's a discussion for another day. But it's a really good suggestion, and one which I thoroughly support.
Chair, sorry, Chair, can I intervene there, because what was clear from the way in which the SIL bids were dealt with in that first round is that if there was match funding suggested, then it gave much more power to the bid. So if we want to get inclusive play equipment in Riverside Park as well, then we need to make sure that we represent that there's a total project to do it in Brick Hills and Riverside Park, and we are going to fund that, but we expect match funding from the district council.
Yeah,
excellent suggestion.
I take your point. I think that's a very good idea, but I think on this occasion, hold on, who's flashing? Ian, you've got your hand up. Karen, you've got.
Chair, it was just. Could we just ask, because in Ian's report that I've got on the screen, he is bringing to our attention the state of disrepair of Brick Hill. So could we just ask his views, obviously putting this new equipment in, on whether we should be looking at the site as a whole? How's it going to be affected having the old equipment and this new equipment?
Right. What I'm going to suggest is that we delegate this to Stephen to bring back a report. I've seen some of the equipment available. I know that Delphine's had a couple of ideas about swings, etc. I'm going to ask Stephen if he's happy to bring back a report for the next meeting, which adds up to £45,000. Are you happy to do that?
Proposal for a set of equipment.
Yeah. What sort of equipment we can get?
Yeah, if I could arrange a call with the ops manager, then perhaps the ops manager and myself go through that would be, because I would respect his opinion, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, mate.
Okay, so that's the proposal. See you next month. Yeah. Okie dokie. Okay, Delphine, you've got your hand up.
Sorry. Yes, I agree with what you said. So Stephen would like some support. I'm more than happy to provide this for him. What I was going to say is actually the point that Karen has made, that obviously we need to look at the whole site and also if we've got some pieces of equipment which are not very good, it may be worth removing them and just basically starting from scratch, making sure that the floor also is perfectly adequate for, for and fencing. So I would basically recommend that we start from scratch if we can.
The proposal is from me, and I think it's been seconded. Stephen's agreed. He's going to bring back a meet for next. All those agreed?
Yes.
Yeah, good. That'll do. Right. Anybody against? No. Hold on, Stephen. Bit more work for you. Right. We now. Oh dear. What's up with this thing? Click. We now come on to. Where are we? Tree nursery. Is there anything to report on the tree nursery?
Oh, that's me. No, I haven't had any further updates as yet.
We're still waiting for the drop curb, are we not?
Yes. As soon as I hear something, I will let committee members know.
Yeah. Okay then. Radio. Speed monitoring equipment. Again, you've had two quotes. I did ask if there was any questions, and I got Barry, yeah, Bluetoothing about there. Is there any other technical problems? Because I'm going to ask for a recommendation which one we use before we open the debate up. No? Okay. So we're looking at two quotations, which in my jumble of desk here, up there. One is about £1,500 cheaper than the other one, which is the one I would recommend, the cheaper of the two, the one from Yorkshire. Anybody got any comments on that? Because if we're agreed, I would propose that we go ahead and order those units and get them up and running.
I second that.
Who said that?
Christine.
Oh, right. Okay. Just to put you in the picture, you know, an extra selling point, if you like. These are not just static displays. They do actually monitor one heck of a lot of information. Hence the Bluetooth download, which is good. Okay. So nobody else wants to say anything on this?
Chair,
what's
the name of the supplier that you're proposing? Can you remind me, because I'm not looking at it. Which one was it?
Where is it? I've got the wrong papers here. Bloody papers everywhere. It's the right down the bottom of the.
One of two, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I think it's Swartco. Where is it? And these are with the extra strong batteries. Before we order it, though, I will need to just have a final, see what else I can get from them. Yeah, it's Swartco Traffic. Yeah, £10,743 ex VAT. And that gives us two spare batteries, and they're the lithium, the longer lasting ones.
I'll carry on talking for a minute. I'm just filling the.
Chair, can I ask a question, please?
If
we have 12,500 approved by full council.
Yep.
From SIL.
Yep.
And we're going to spend
10,700 and yeah, it might be a little bit more than that because I tried to get hold of them on Friday and I couldn't. There was the fixing kit. I think they've just quoted for one fixing kit, but 4 padlocks. So it might be an extra £100 on that. But I just
Chairman, my question is: there's therefore £2,000 which we had, or thereabouts, which we had extra, which approved by full council to come from SIL. And we can make that point when we're applying for the SIL for the money for the Shady Walk fencing, that will no longer be needed and therefore could be applied to the Shady Walk fencing.
It can indeed, but don't rush into that.
Well, I prefer the Shady Walk fencing to be done. Clearly, we need fixing kits.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to intentionally spend money that we perhaps need to spend.
No, I take your point. Okay. All those in favour of that? Aye. Right.
Yes.
I do love these long agendas where we keep having to go right back to the top of the page. We then
Should be on item 4 now, the minutes, Chair.
right. I knew there was something in there. Item 4, the minutes. We've got the hags. Here we are. Yeah, right. The minutes of the
16th of February.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find them on here. They look also similar. Oh, here we are. Yeah, can I sign those as a correct recollection, please? No, they're not missing now. Yeah. Anybody got any comments on the minutes? Are they a true and accurate recollection? Yes, no?
Yes, I'll second that.
You'll
Right.
second it. Thank you, Christine. The
All those in
proposals are
favour?
the chat. Thank you.
All those in favour? Right. No
Yes.
dissenters?
Yes,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know you want to get home. Yeah. Right. Outdoor gym equipment. Now, we've already spoken about that. I've already spoken to Ian, and if he's still there, he was going to come back to with a price for new fittings and location. Now, preliminary, and it's not in tablets of stone or concrete, we've discussed putting it on Banks's field, or Chapman's field, as Barry pointed out to the other week. So the 8 pieces of outdoor equipment are all in one area. It's near the school. It's near Knights Park. But the problem is the fixings. So Ian, over to you.
Yeah, so for Kaloo, who make the equipment to supply us with all the ground anchors, the caps, fixings, the safety matting to go all around it so the grass doesn't end up a complete quagmire, and to install it for us would be £6,296.40.
That's a lot more than you said it would be to me the other day.
Don't think so. Got the quote here in front of me.
You said about $2,000 for the.
Crikey, no, nowhere near.
That's what you said to me.
No.
No, that's just for the fixings.
Yeah, but we need someone to fit it for us as well. It's certainly not something we can do ourselves.
Oh.
You know, this is equipment that people were swinging around on, jumping around on. The last thing we want is it not to put enough concrete or.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, the safety surface around it's not that easy to fit either.
Yeah. Anyway, it's £6,296.40p.
It is.
You're in charge of your budget. Any idea where that will come from?
Not at all, no. We're obviously getting a new budget in a few weeks, but that would be a big chunk of it gone straight away.
Yep. Well, open to debate. Any ideas? Stephen?
Yes, whereabouts on Sydney Banks playing field? I would ask that we are mindful of the fact that there's a popular Saturday morning running event called Pocket Park Run, which uses part of the field close to the hedge, and there's also football pitches marked out on Sydney Banks playing field. So as long as we don't interfere with those, I think I'd be in support of this.
Barry?
Yes, Stephen, it's the triangle that it's not Sydney Banks Field. It's the triangle next to it that Derek's proposing the equipment go on.
That triangle has lots of trees on it all of a sudden.
Yeah,
That
I
would
was
have
gonna
to
say,
be.
can't put it on there. That really did flood as well just recently as well.
It does have trees on, and I was going to ask if the oak trees that, or one of them anyway, that I planted there at the naming ceremony could be replaced. But yeah, that's the area, not Sydney Banks, so it wouldn't affect the football at all.
No. Okay. Right. So we've got the equipment. We've got the location, more or less. All we need is the money. Yeah. Right. Well. Wonder whether we can apply for a Mick George grant. Quite honestly, he's well into sport, isn't he? Or a joint seal project with HTC. Come on, brains! Come on, let's have some thoughts here.
Okay. First of all, can you, because I don't know Saint-Niet's very, which part of Saint-Niet is that? Where is it? Sorry?
Amesbury.
All right. Okay.
You know the Willow Bridge?
Yes.
The piece of land was where the compound was when the Willow Bridge was built.
All right. Okay.
It's a triangular piece of land near the crossroads where the paths cross.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
because
okay,
there's no urgency, may I suggest that we may want to look for other potential source of funding, because again, it's a lot of money. Obviously, as you mentioned, Chairman, if there is any way we can do grants or things like that, that would be lovely. But I will not be into any rush of trying to sort out the money straight away. I think we might be better wait a bit, because £6,000 at the moment we just can't afford it with all the project we've already been doing.
Yeah. What I suggest we do, put our thinking caps on this one over the next month, bring it back to the committee next month. With ideas. You say it's a lot of money. Actually, it's not a tremendous amount of money in the grand scheme of things, but I don't want to push it too much this financial year. Let's keep it on the agenda. I'm also very mindful of the fact that it's been stored in the garage, which we're saying to people, yeah, go and store your furniture in there. So we do need to move it out of there, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it yet, but do it we no doubt will. Ian, you've got your Danny.
I was just going to say the same thing. We're literally just about to give the garage away, and we've got half of it stored with this stuff in. It's worth remembering that this equipment, if we was to purchase it from new, each piece would be well over £2,000 installed.
Yeah.
Like, we've got eight bits of this kit. So for the 6,000 or whatever it is, just over £6,000, really it is a good deal.
Yeah.
Even the grand it cost to buy it.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody disputing that. It's just that we're strapped for cash at the moment.
And we're also strapped for space for storing it if we give the garage away.
Yeah. But it's not going to come in my garage, Barry.
Chair, I do wonder whether or not we have to put matting down or anything around this equipment, rather than just
chipboard. Yeah.
Is it chippings or?
It's like a rubber grass mat. So it's like a rubber mat. The grass grows through, and it stops the grass from eroding.
But that's included, Ian, in the 6,000.
It is, yeah.
I have to say I'm quite shocked by the 6,000.
Yeah.
I don't agree that it's a large amount of money when I see 20 something odd thousand being paid to high street consultants without any budget for
Or
delivering
bridges.
what they come up with, or
Yeah.
an unknown amount, yes, spent on a bridge. So I don't really, and I think it would be a major thing for the town to have. So
Yeah.
I'm very keen on it. I do wonder whether or not it would be possible to at least install half the equipment, 4 of the 8 pieces to start off with, and then possibly put more in later, if that would be possible.
My proposal is that we bring it back with a little bit more meat on the bones for the meeting next month. In the meantime, I will check on with the report. I would check on, and if we can all do this, other forms of funding. Also, how Paxton have overcome theirs, because they've got some, and I don't remember any matting round theirs. Go on.
Little Paxton, I believe does. Oh no, I'm not.
Let's go and see it.
It does. It has the same stuff.
I thought they did. Theirs was paid for from their SIL contribution.
Yeah, this type of grass mat.
Bylands Lane. Bylands Lane.
Yeah. Let's take it back and let's put it on the agenda for next month. Okay. I'm very conscious of the fact we've run short. Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Rightio. All those in favour? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harry. Right. Stephen. Yes. Nicola.
Yes.
All there. Right. Okie dokie. Let's move on. LHI projects. To remembers to receive an update on the progress with the Hawkston Road project, and we also need to be looking at new local highway initiative projects as well. But if we can have an update on the Hawkston Road projects.
Yeah, when we were having our pre-meeting, this was the one that you said had been completed.
Yeah. I don't.
Had confirmation.
I haven't checked that out completely yet, but I was in a meeting of highways last week, and it just didn't twig. It said, oh yeah, they've all been paid and all been updated, and we're looking at the new tranche, and there was nothing to say that there was still outstanding work or monies owed on the Hawkston Road one. So it's a bit vague whether it's been completed or not.
I suppose you're able to find out and email me with clarification at all.
No, I don't want to make too many waves.
Oh, okay.
Chairman, may I ask, with the bid, because we went for a group of yellow lines, so Hawkston was one of the application in that group. But we talk also about Huntington Road, and I think there was other parts. It was just not Hawkston, but there was other part of that bid when it was accepted. But I haven't heard anything more from it. Would you have also request to know exactly what's going on? Because I'm not very clear.
I don't know. I don't know is the short answer to that. Barry?
I believe Hawkston Road is that scheme is finished, but I also believe that they what's his name? Lambs. Who's the guy?
Richard Lumley.
Richard Lumley needs to actually formally sign it off before the police can start enforcing.
Right. Okay.
In terms of the other items, because we did put in a number of items together, as Delphine says, Further information was requested, according to County Highways, on the other schemes that we in there, which included Eaton Ford Green, I believe, something in Kings Road, in Eaton Soken, and Huntingdon Road. But anyway, those schemes, the information requested of the town council was not provided, so those schemes did not go forward, and would need to be resubmitted. I've got an email somewhere to Ed asking for the information that what's the name of the project manager? Karen somebody?
Yeah, Lunn.
Yeah, Karen Lunn sent to him a couple of times. Didn't receive the information, she says. So I've not seen Ed since, because I was going to ask him about it, but on that they put them in. I questioned it when the orders were published for Hawkston Road, why the other orders weren't being published at the same time. So those bids would have to be resubmitted again this year.
Yeah.
Can I log that? I'm very disappointed to hear this. Particularly as I provided, for Hawkston as well as for Huntington Road, providing photos and maps, something like that, and I would have been more than happy to provide more evidence if I had been requested. So I just want to log that I'm quite disappointed to hear this.
Chair, if
Well,
I
I
may,
think-
could I ask if Councillor Chapman or any other councillors that emailed this information into our offices could resend it to me, and then I can ensure that it goes on the next tranche.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's have an
application.
agenda item for that, because it's always the case. Nobody really knows who's applying for what. And it's not just a case of a wish list. It does need costing, and it needs talking with the engineer, etc. The feasibility, everything of it. It's just not a case of, it would be nice if we. It does need a lot of groundwork on it, and the sooner we get started on it, the better. We did mention about having a 20-mile-an-hour limit round schools in the town. That sort of fizzled out, but I know that my colleague Simon Taylor is very keen that there's a 20-mile-an-hour limit round one of the schools in her patch. And there's also a project in Eaton Soken about the cycleway there, which needs enhancing. And it's been said that this could also be as a LHI bid. So, Barry, can you find out a little bit? Is my understanding that we're waiting for it to be signed off so the police can act on it? Or what?
Yes, there's a procedure. There's a procedure that Richard Lumley has to do at the end of the scheme. We had the same with the Long Sands area parking scheme. That it has to be signed off, and then the police have to be informed, and then it becomes live.
So in other words, a very simple letter, perhaps from our town clerk or Karen to Richard Lumley, saying the Hawkston Road has it been fully signed off and now under the auspices of the police. That would suffice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Richard will do it quite quickly anyway.
Yeah. Is that okay, Karen?
So you'd like me to ask Richard Lumley if he's completed that process, signing off?
Yeah, if it's an official request from the town council, that would be a lot better. Then at least we'd know then, and we can then start chasing the police up. Are you happy to do that?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right. Green open spaces. We're running. Yeah, we're okay. Yes. Well, I thought we were.
I believe that's me.
That is you. It is you. It is Leclerc.
In 2019, this committee resolved, we had a load of members of the public came along and resolved to request that the district council compulsorily purchase the freehold rights of the lands on the Eton Meadows, on the Poets and Painters. The residents at that time at the meeting said that they would pay for the compulsory purchase. Now, what most of you may be aware now is that someone bought this rogue freehold. Well, they bought some old pieces of paper and they managed to register them, even though they're at the land registry, and they're now in the process of submitting repeated applications to infill on the green open spaces, and there's one currently being considered by planning to build on a play area.
Yeah, but if I can just cut you very short there, we know we're looking back a bit further. We've asked Karen to have a report on this, an update on this. So I'm gonna cut you very, very short there and pass over to Karen, then you can come back. Karen?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it's actually on our resolution tracker, and there were steps I do need to check with Councillor Chapman. Just bear with me while my machine is on a go slow.
Yeah. Karen, you will recall that we sent a 274 notice, which is the precursor to a compulsory purchase order, requesting that the owner, or in this case the person who's got the freehold, that they tell us how much they would be prepared to part with it for. And we sent that to BEM to do with the first person who put
pre my DTC role, but the thing on researching this, if I could just add, looking at the email trail and the resolutions, the last thing that was set in place to happen, there was a meeting that was being organised, I think, by yourself with Ed and a member of HDC. You were going to go down to the site and have a meeting with them. I can't find anything after any other emails after that in December 2019. Have you got anything you can update on that?
Right,
Karen. I think that's confusing two different things. The meeting, which did take place with HDC, not on site but in the town council offices, which I think it was myself, Gordon, who was the relevant HDC officers, whatever. But that was to discuss green open spaces in general and getting them added to the neighbourhood plan. So protecting the land via a different avenue. What this is that the committee agreed to request the district serve a compulsory purchase order on for this freehold interest, and a consequence of that was a 274 notice was served, which you prepared, I believe, Karen, was served on BEM Builders and Decorators.
That was Sharon
who had bought it, but they didn't want. They put it back into auction, and then a subsequent one was sent to the current person who bought it at an auction on 30th of October 2019, and that was sent by recorded delivery, but we never received a response.
So I'm not quite sure what we can do with that now.
Well, what we need to do is request that HDC purchase the compulsory purchase the freehold. Now they will return with saying that this is what it would cost, but we're in open session, aren't we? So I can't really say.
There's a resolution for the CPO, so that was on the 2nd of April 2019, and that's where the residents,
2 years.
poets, and painters and poets estate offered to pay towards the cost for a CPO to be placed on the green spaces, and that if successful, the land would be transferred to the council to preserve it. And then at that meeting, the town clerk advised that the same process that had been previously discussed for the old Falcon would need to be followed. The owners need to be identified, and this is for HDC to start the process on the council's behalf, not the council. And then there was the mention of the 174 notice, which, as you said, was issued. I'm trying to understand what we need to do next.
We've sent the 174 notice or 274. I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, but that's what's sent first by the people that want to compulsorily purchase it. That's what's sent to the owner. That gives the owner the option of saying, well, yes, I'm happy to settle this without any further ado. This is the amount that I want. And if that's acceptable, then there's no need for compulsory purchase. If they reject that, then you ask the planning authority or the compulsory purchase authority, HDC, to take the next step, which is the 275 notice or 175, whatever the number is, to compulsory purchase.
Right. Do we have legal, or should we have legal advice on this?
This is quite a simple process.
Do we not just need to request to HDC that they start the CPO process for poets and painters, or painters and poets? I never know which way around.
Right.
And then see what their response is. Would that be the next step? Because the 174 notice was issued asking them to state what they believe the current market value of the land is, which it doesn't sound like that we've received that information from them.
Right. Okay. So I'm not quite sure of the process. Are you proposing that we write to HDC?
Chair, we have an outstanding resolution to do this.
Yeah.
So the reason it's on the agenda is to prompt it being done.
Right.
Now,
okay.
That requires a letter to go to HDC saying that we would like to compulsory purchase the freehold interest. Now, it can get a little bit complicated, and we would have to go into part 2. I'm quite happy to explain to you offline what will then happen.
What I'm going to suggest is that we make a resolution here. It's not something that we as a subcommittee of the town council can instigate, but we can recommend to full town council that this is what we should be doing.
I believe the resolution from Ops was explained to full council in 2019.
Right.
Well, this resolution, sorry if I may, the resolution on the 2nd of April was one that was made at full council.
It was.
To investigate the CPO.
In that case, it's still on the table, so we need to
write to HDC requesting that they CPO. Yeah.
If you look in the chat, Barry, is that suitable? What I put in there?
Poeters.
I put it the wrong way round. Christine's just
paints and poeters.
Yeah. It was actually called Eton Meadows up until 1974. But.
Yeah. I think all we can do, thank you for bringing that to this committee, but is to remind the full town council, and we can do that on a report, when I present the report, that we resolve to recommend, this committee resolve to recommend that the full town council request an update from HDC as to the progress of it.
Well, can we? Well, I know that the instruction was never made to HDC,
Ah, right,
and that's why I'm saying there is an outstanding resolution to do this,
right.
which came from the Ops Committee.
Yeah.
So that came from Ops Committee, went to full council, was resolved that we would do that. Nothing's happened in 2 years.
Oh.
It has now become critical. There's a planning application which is pending,
Yeah.
which is likely to be decided before the next full council meeting.
Yeah. Right.
So,
okay.
So
In that case, yeah, we asked for an update.
No, we need to ask HDC to proceed with compulsory purchase.
Who needs to ask HDC? Not this committee.
Well,
you're
sorry,
asking.
Sorry, Karen, we're asking you to.
Yeah, well, you're asking me to write to HDC.
Yeah.
It has been previously discussed at full council, so I can just write to HDC based on that resolution.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. All those in agreement with that?
We have a seconder, please. Have we got a seconder?
I'll second it.
Oh, picked at the toes.
Oh, you've got to lose one. You've got to lose one, evening, Christine.
Yeah. All those in favour? Right. I've just been reminded we've got 10 minutes to go and four items to get through. So that is carried. We come on to street lighting. I think Ian's report on that is going to be quite. Sorry.
There isn't a street lighting on the agenda. If you remember, I emailed you. We've got item 8, which is the Pythal. It shouldn't be street lighting.
No,
it's still on there.
I've got. Oh, you've taken the street lighting off, have you not?
Yeah, is it still on the agenda? It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's on mine too.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
That's a cloud issue.
So
frustrating.
hold on to keep it well intact. Item 8, street lighting, has been withdrawn. Right. Item 9, the Pythal. Very briefly, I'm making the proposal that any wood chippings that the town council generates is donated free of charge to the Pythal to put on their paths. Do I have a seconder for that, Barry?
Yes, I second that.
I want to comment, please. Can I comment on that?
Please do.
There was an informal discussion some time ago when we planted the new trees on the piece of land as discussed earlier, that the ops team would maybe be able to add any surplus wood chips to mulch around those new trees. Is there any way that they could be included here?
Yeah.
You know the ones I mean on the piece of land we were discussing earlier, the ones we planted in November, because they do need mulching.
I would speak to Paul on that, Paul Davis.
I have done.
Have you? Right.
But I've also spoken to Ian. I don't know if Ian's got any comment to make.
Can I make a comment, Chair?
Are you still there, Ian?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Have you got anything to add to that at all, or any insights?
Yeah, basically the idea was we were going to spread them between the two sites, but
yeah,
throughout the last few months whilst we've been doing all this work, as you've been aware, it's done nothing but constantly rain. Everywhere is so wet.
Yeah.
We would never have got to the Pythal, and we'd never have got down to Banksfield and back again. So we have to been chipping on site.
Okay, so is there any way, like moving forward, that any chips that you get can be sort of spread between the two sites?
I'm sure there is, definitely.
Yeah, I just wanted to, make that official at this meeting that will be done. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
My proposal is that any spare wood chips go down the Pythal for the footpaths. Do I have a seconder for that?
Yes,
I
can I speak on it?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on it too.
Go on then.
Firstly, do we have interest to declare?
No.
No, nothing to do with the Pythal anymore, anyone?
No.
I am.
Okay. My observation is that a few minutes ago we were talking about having wood chippings around outdoor equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why?
It has to be a certain grade. You can't use just wood chippings from a tree.
Oh dear,
Doesn't
dear.
comply with the British
Come on,
Standards.
let's move on.
Thwarted by the.
Right. Chris, hang on. Barry Banks, yes. You want to declare an interest, don't you?
Yeah, I want to declare an interest and also that at the moment I've just organised about 5 tonnes of wood chipping that's gone down to the Pythal, and we've been spreading it. I've got more coming.
Have you?
So we have got quite a lot going down there at the moment, and I don't want to take it from somebody else.
No. Well, this I put this in last week before I realised that there was some there. So yeah, fine. If it's if we're happy that the Pythal have got all they want, then fine.
So can we have some for those trees, Ian, as appropriate and when it's the right sort of conditions?
Yeah. We're about to have lots of tree work done at Eton Soken Church, so I'll have a word with the contractor and get him to drop some off.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Ian, can I have another word, please, Chair?
Yes, we've got.
I was
5
just going to
minutes.
say to Ian that just by the Pythal, on the land of McNish, there's a lot of tree branches and logs that could be ground down for chippings. There's probably a few tonnes there. I don't know if we have the facility to grind it down to wood chippings, but it's there for the taking.
Yeah. Can we leave that for outside of the meeting, because that's I agree with you. It's a good source, and they probably want to get rid of it. But I'm very conscious of the time, and I'm very conscious of the fact we've got one more part 2 item. So if I can exclude members of the public, the press and public, for the next part of the meeting.
Chair, if I may.
Yeah. Yeah. All those in favour?
Sorry, could we just vote to suspend standing orders for until 9:15, just to cover us, or 20 past 9, sorry, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Because we're very close now.
Can we extend the meeting by 10 minutes?
Agreed.
I'm not agreeing. No.
No.
This meeting always overruns. No.
Yeah, no, I don't agree either.
Right.
2
Okay
noes,
then.
How many yeses?
No, we'll do it in 5 minutes. I don't like overrun.
You got 3 minutes.
Go on then.
Can we read out number 9 correctly, please, for the record? Because remember, this meeting does go out to the public now. So number 9, if you would, please, Chair.
Yeah. Exclude press and public from the next item of the agenda. All those in favour?
We don't know why. Why are we excluding members of the public?
It's very sensitive item. If you decide afterwards that it can be publicised, then fine. But I've decided.
Is it commercially sensitive? Is it commercially sensitive?
Yes, it could well be.
It's under part 2, under the advice of our locum clerk. Obviously, the resolutions will be made public. It's only the general discussion.
I'm in favour if the clerk suggests it.
Thank you.
Right. No members of the public here?
Let me just check the list.
No, can't see any. Okay, over to you, Karen.
Okay, yes. So this item is in our
Deputy
cemetery.
Town Clerk, should we stop the recording?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. This is why I don't like rushing. I've now got 1.5 minutes to get this done, which is not ideal. And if I can't get it